What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers who are very ill. For
you sound like you're being choked out.
The true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Ships. Bro, how you doing today? He says while knowing how we're both dying.
Also, I know, at least my voice is working at least.
At least. Mine's bad.
You're very clearly not good.
When I try to speak normally like this, I feel like it's bearable. But if I try to raise my voice, that's all. It doesn't get very good. Which is bad because I'm naturally the guy that goes, I'm projecting my voice.
It's not working.
Someone's like, there's a cap on the volume. Someone turn it up.
Now, I think I'm also a little bit worried that you're going to try and turn this up in post and it's going to get more but not louder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody that works with audio will know what I'm getting at, but like it's just not going to quite.
In previous times where I've been ill and I'm on the podcast, I try to keep my voice just at a normal volume.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's natural for me to do the thing where I get excited and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'll try to stay at this level so you guys can at least not be blown out whenever I turn up the volume.
On the plus side, don't worry too much about not speaking because no one wants to hear what you have to say anyway.
That's a good point. I'm not really. They're here for you and
talent.
The games. That's what they're there for.
That's right.
And I'm just really the pretty face on the side. Sucks, eh? How you
Sex
doing,
sells,
bro?
bro.
It does. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm also sick, but not like your kind of sick. I'm a different kind of sick. Like
Sick.
Tony Hawk.
Oh, sick flips, bruv.
Yeah. Sick. But I've been doing a bit of gaming.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I've got maybe 30 hours into Baldur's Gate 3, which is good.
Nice.
And obviously I finished Spider-Man like immediately. I thought it was brave, how they actually had that scene where he was actually a spider.
Yeah, that was quite brave. It was.
That was an interesting take. So finished Spider-Man 2, loved it, obviously. Brilliant game.
We should have said spoilers. Are we spoiled?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now? Oh,
I mean, it's in the name, Spider-Man.
You should have really.
Sometimes it's Spider, man, and sometimes it's Spider -man. You just gotta figure out which one it is.
When you guys don't know, when it says Spider-Man, it means spider when he's a spider, and then man, which is Miles Morales on the side.
Exactly.
Did you not get
Sometimes
that?
it's Spider-Man, them, innit?
Mandem. Oh, bruv, that'll be the North London
Spider
ghetto. Roadman. We need one of these. Did you hear my voice? It didn't come.
Like you tried, like the effort was there, but the volume didn't change.
We need a Spider Roadman.
100%. I'm so down for it.
I'm gonna go through the costumes in the thing. See if there's any of the costumes that are like really, almost like a hoodie or something like that. Take screenshots, put them on like a fake cover in Photoshop, and just Photoshop it to say Spider Roadman.
What would be really good, have you seen that guy on TikTok? Black dude who does like, where they're talking to themselves but they're different characters, and he does like really fancy English, but it's like Roadman encounters.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy?
Yeah,
we need him to do that. Let's contact him.
Let's contact him.
So we do a Spider Roadman.
He'll answer us. We're big deals.
Obviously, of course he would.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Dude, I have played, enjoyed, cried, and finished Spider-Man 2. It's quick disclaimer because we're big deals. Thank you, PlayStation, for providing us with this copy of the game. They gave it to me early, and I really appreciate them for that. It was really good. However, these are my honest opinions. I really, really enjoyed it.
I was going to say, like, however, these are my honest opinions. Paid shill. 100% an actor. Everybody knows this game's shit.
It was fantastic. Honestly, it was the game that we so deserved. It had everything you ever needed. There was not a point where I was like bored. There was not a point where I was wondering what I should do. There was times where I was looking into even the side quests and I was like, oh my God, I'm still having fun. There was emotional side quests. The main story, it started off in a good place with action and stuff like that, and then it just rose towards the middle and peaked and just stayed at that peak all the way to the end. I was like, this is just fucking phenomenal. And turns you're just not seeing coming, characters you don't see coming, and I freaking loved it. So it's fantastic. Thank you, Insomniac, for all your hard work over there. It's been really good. I can't wait for everyone else to play it. I'm currently in talks with somebody, because I know that you're not going to get to it anytime soon.
Not even close.
Currently in talks with somebody to do a review spoiler cast episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a big Spider-Man YouTuber, which would be quite fun as well. Hey. Yes, true, but that could be quite fun as well. And I'll ask you guys to send in your thoughts as well, and that'd be really cool to listen there.
I'm going to send in my full review for you to read.
Just blag it.
I'm going to send it. You know, like, homework's due next period. And you're like, right, here comes his history essay.
Shit.
I'm going to do it, and you're going to have to see what his reaction is.
You know enough about Spider-Man. Get it in there, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, he climbs up a wall, right?
The climbing mechanics, great.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Is he in it?
Yes.
Is it voiced by...
I know who you mean.
Why can't I think of his name? The guy who played him in the live action. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. I don't think it is. I don't think it is, but it sounds so good.
Yeah.
So
I love J.K. Simmons. I'm going to write a fake review, and I'm going to see what the guy thinks of it, who's a big Spider-Man fan, and you, obviously. And we'll see if our reviews differ very much, you know?
You know, they might differ just a little bit, you know? Who is the main character? No. Who... Best game was... Oh, fucking I've got the right voice actor then.
What are you looking for?
I was going to say who actually is the voice actor for him.
I was going to say, because I already remembered J.K. Simmons was the name I was looking for. Like,
Doreen DePaul is the voice actor.
J.K. Simmons.
It isn't. No,
I don't think that's the same guy.
But it's great. Love it. By the way, I just found out today the voice actor for Kraven the Hunter is also the voice actor for Boozer in Days Gone, Birgit, who in the God of War Ragnarok, the tall thing goes, is that, and who's the very bad guy in Red Dead Redemption 2? One of the big bad guy in the mansion that we all go to fight as a family, as a group and whatnot. And I was like, Pinkerton. Wow, this guy is everywhere. Not Pinkerton. He's one of the bad guys, but it's not him. But I was like, this guy has been everywhere. And do you know what kind of annoyed me? When I typed in Kraven the Hunter voice actor, it didn't come up with Kraven. It didn't come up with the video game. It came up with the movie that has been announced.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And it annoys me because like video games just still don't get their flowers, man. They still don't get the respect they deserve. It's fucking like this game is out.
Yeah.
It's out there. People are enjoying it. There's tons of source material. The fucking movie has a poster. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Video games are like Leonardo DiCaprio not getting the Oscar.
Right.
When it's like, but he made the movie. Why is he not? Yeah, exactly. It's video games all the time. All the time.
Fucking joke.
Don't get me wrong. You and me stan the Spider-Man movies. All of them. Raimi trilogy, like we love all of them, including the animated ones. The games are better, because you get to be Spider-Man. That's the difference.
Yeah,
you get to be Spider-Man. You get to web around and do nothing if you want to. You get to fight crime. You get to explore and do what anyone would do with superpowers. You get to do it.
Yeah,
it's cool to see it, but you get to do it. Video games are better. So that annoys me.
It annoys the crap out of me. Anyway, bro, before we get too deep into it and we get right into our topics we can talk about today, I just want to thank a couple of super bros.
You need to get deep into that mic.
I'll get deep into this mic.
Don't try and deepen your voice because no one's going to be able to hear you.
It gets into an octave that people can't hear. Yeah,
like, suddenly people like listening on their laptops, the dogs will turn.
You know when you go deeper, it just turns into bass. There's got a sound system.
You to assume I can go deeper. I'm all out, dick, baby.
I'm all. Give me more. I'm all out, PP.
There's no more PP left for this move.
That's in my mind with as well. We'd like to thank our super bros who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations at their $15 tier, our super bro tier, because they're legends. And they help keep the lights and the mics on and the gaming going here at Conbrosations. Thank you so much. Those people are My Juicy Left Nut, Sabine from Smallville, and Gamsmaster, the leader of the Empire, the fearless one, the great Lord Vader himself. Step cousin isn't really that important, but you know what he likes to do? He likes to dust the frames in the antiques room. The antiques room, very well kept, however. we've had to remove all of the antiques because last time he was in there, he had a bit of an accident, and now we don't trust him over there. But we do want to still keep
I love
him
that you
busy.
set up an antiques room and you're like, yeah, but we had to remove one. He's just in a room. No one goes in.
It's
with
a room,
dust.
and there's one picture frame
There's a
which
room?
does sit.
And dust.
We send him in there, we lock him in there for an hour, we're done. I like my ability to waffle about, because I just come up with that shit on the spot. It's so random. Bro.
Yes.
Today is the
It is today.
27th.
It is today.
Today is the 27th of October.
Yeah.
Next month,
Yeah.
the Game Awards will be announcing the nominees for the Game Awards at the show at the beginning of December.
Yeah.
And before they get announced, I thought it'd be fun for us to go through what we think should be nominated or what could be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, because at the end of the day, we're the true gamers and we're the ones that matter. I wanted to do this. I was really excited to do this actually, because this year has been fucking phenomenal when it comes to video games.
We were talking about this yesterday, the day before. You said like get a list,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, cool. I got some games that I remember came out this year, and I was like, that'll do. And I just now googled Games 2023. This year has been stacked. Stacked.
In terms of games that you can play, ones that some of the games aren't going to be able to be nominated for Game of the Year because they're like, some of them are remakes, some of them are remasters and stuff like that.
Also, some of them are like Tekken came out, or Mortal Kombat, one of those came out, and it's like they're great, and people that love those games love them, or like Forza, but it's just not gonna.
They're not gonna do Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's not what we're talking about.
We're talking about something that defines the genre, defines the gaming industry. I'm going to read out a couple of them from Metacritic. I'm just going to start reading from the top. This is going in chronological order.
Yeah.
In terms of score. Baldur's Gate 3, The Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom. Witcher 3 got re-released, but that's a re-release.
That doesn't count.
Metroid Prime, Resident Evil, that's also a re-release. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Street Fighter 6, Cocoon, Xenoblade, Alan Wake 2, just got released today. Diablo 4, Sea of Stars, Turbo Overkill, Ghost Trick, Moss Book 2, Persona 4 Golden, Rogue Legacy, Quake 2. By the way, these are all still in the 90s, by the way, just to let you guys know. So not only has it been a great year for game releases,
they've been great games.
They've also been fucking great games. Marvel Spider-Man, Pizza Tower, Hi-Fi Rush, Dead Space got re-released, but that's also a re-release. Yeah. Vampire Survivors, Armored Core, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy Pixel, Age of Empires, Moss, Humanity. All of these games. Hogwarts Legacy as well.
Was that December of 2022?
Oh, no, February 2023.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, Remnant 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Mortal Kombat 1.
There's one you haven't said.
Forza Motorsport. Gone. Starfield.
Forgettable, man.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention that. No, do you know what it is? Because that's way lower on the list because it's going in number order. That's what that is.
I actually assumed it would be higher. Never mind.
When did... For some reason, Ratchet... Do you know what? It wasn't...
Ratchet and Clank. That was years ago.
No. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to go back on something I said there because for some reason they're also adding... You know, next to the date that it has here, it's adding when the last review came in, and I guess someone's put a late review in for something. So Hogwarts Legacy, I'm just going to double check that one. Hogwarts Legacy. No, that was February. Okay, cool. I was worried I was wrong there. Anyway, so many freaking games and so many great games. Exactly. Grateful for all of this, right? So did you say Redfall? Oh my god, you blasphemy.
Redfall, Forspoken, you know, the classics, the best ones.
Blasphemous 2 also
generation defining. Yeah. Lies of P.
Lies of P, exactly. I just flicked over to another page as well here. Lies of P.
Payday. Payday 3 came out.
Payday came out.
Right genre for this, but
yeah. When did? Hold on a sec. Did that come out this year? No, it didn't. Okay.
What?
It said another issue here where I was like, Stray. That didn't come out this year, did it?
No, it didn't.
It said August 10th, 2023. That's when the last review came out.
Like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Anyway, as I mentioned, tons and tons and tons
Stacked.
of games. And then if you count DLCs like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, in terms of
Phantom Liberty came out with such a big update and got so many people back into it that
in terms of gamer
Yeah.
discussion, in terms of talking about
Yeah.
things that are cool to play and things that are great, we can include it in that, and we can
Yeah.
say that that was all something. It's amazing. It's unbelievable that we're in this year. I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
and what's also credit to the rest of the industry for doing fucking great, because we always say like PlayStation always make fantastic games.
Yeah.
PlayStation released one game.
yeah,
Everything else was like third party and stuff like that. So hats off to the rest of the industry for also doing such great work, and that was fantastic. I think. Yeah.
So we're going to do our list, our predictions. Now, my question to you is,
Yeah.
are we going to say what we think is going to win? Or
No.
are we going to say what we think should win?
We're gonna do just nominations now,
Okay.
and then in a future episode, we're gonna do our game of the year pick, what we think is gonna win the awards, and we're gonna do what we pick as game of the year. So, because the funny thing, because the problem is that you have to narrow it down to 6. Only 6 can be nominated in the whole award
Right.
ceremony, and that's a tough task. And I feel like that'll be very good to
not
decide
easy, is
right
it?
there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a collective list right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so and we'll go in tandem. So you
Yeah.
can pick one, I'll pick one, and then we can discuss whether or not it'll be
Cool.
on that list. Okay. All right. Hit me with your first game you think should be nominated for Game of the Year.
Not just for recency bias, but Spider-Man 2, obviously.
It's pretty hard to not put it on there.
And I am always conscious of recency bias. That's always a thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, it's got to be on there.
If not for, as I said, I said it before. When you mentioned Street Fighter and Tekken and Forza and stuff like that, those might be great games. They might score really high as well.
Yeah.
But they're not something that you would be like, you would show someone and be like, you're missing out on gaming. Show this game.
They're not a kind of game where you could show somebody and go, look at all the story you're missing out on.
Yeah.
Look at this great experience you're losing.
Yeah, exactly that.
Or you could show somebody it and then give them a Tekken that's like 3 generations old and be like, it's the same one, and they would be able to easily tell the difference, right? Like, if you gave somebody Spider-Man 2 and then showed them the PS1 version, the 3 previous, they go, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Different characters, different. So it's very obviously different.
Yeah.
You know, Aunt May's still there.
When you
Pete's not a spider.
when you show someone Spider-Man 2, that is a showcase for what gaming is today.
Yeah.
That is showing people.
I seen it on TikTok, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yeah. That's a showcase of what gaming is today. Showing someone that gaming is not only great storytelling, also something beautiful to look at, also something really fun to experience and play. Yeah. It's something that goes, oh my God, gaming unlocks this whole new world of experiences, of enjoyment.
And importantly, with something like Spider-Man, there's something there to scratch the itch for everybody. You can explore, you can trophy hunt, you can do the combat, you can just web around, you know, like there's something there for everybody. If you're like me, you just want to follow the shiny things, you can just follow the shiny things. If you want to just do the combat, you can do that. That's why these games are so good.
Yeah.
I can't think of another type of game that you get all of that. Like Tekken, you only get the fighting and PvP. Yeah. But that's all you get. You don't get story exploration. But in games like Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, I'm not suppose let's say Starfield, we'll just include it, right? Like you can do that. You can explore. Exactly. You can go exploring. You can do the combat. You can do the story. You can change some options sometimes. You know, like
these are great showcases for video games.
There's stuff that you can do. It's not just a linear story. It's not just a book that you're reading or a movie that you're watching. You make it happen. Yeah. That's what makes gaming so good.
That's how I always like to frame it in my mind when I'm thinking about the best game of the year, the best game, the game awards.
Yeah.
That's why I always say that those other games don't compete. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next one. I'm gonna say it so you don't get to say it, but it has to be Baldur's Gate 3. I am nowhere near finishing it.
Not even close. I'm 30 hours in. I'm not even out.
Everything that I've played, the quality just oozes through.
Better. It just gets better.
I believe you.
Character writing, story.
And also everyone else's word as well. So this is definitely going to be nominated out there. I feel like this is definitely going to be.
Yeah, it's got to be there.
I have a sneaking suspicion it might win, but we'll leave that for another time.
It probably should win.
It probably should win as well, because it's like
There's
one of
so
those
many different reasons why it should win.
It's one of those once in a generation type games. That's the thing that I think might push it over the edge. Like I said, with the racing games, rehash and same. With the racing games, there's so many things that you can get one of those each year. That's why they do a Forza every single year.
Yeah.
You could do a fighting game every single year. Spider-Man, fantastic, but there might be another one that comes up in the future. It's a fairly it's a fixed recipe.
Yep.
It's good. Baldur's Gate 3 is such a like a once in a, we can't do this all the time. Too much effort. There's far too much that goes into it. So it has to be balls to the wall. This time it's going to come out and bang, explode. Everyone enjoys it, and then we go away into the shadows. And maybe there'll be another one in the future. Maybe there won't be. And I think that also adds something to it. And it's
Baldur's Gate,
for sure.
It does it. It ticks every box. So like, it's graphically stunning. It's so good to look at. The acting's amazing. The story, and when I say the story, I don't just mean it because I don't know the final story. But like the way that the story progresses and the characters involved are so good. The variety of options are incredible. The variety of the map is X large, and there's 5 different ways to get to any one point. And no matter whichever way you go, it changes the story. There are things that you can do or can't do because you didn't get there soon enough. I just lost the mission because I was too slow going through a burning building, and some of the characters in there died. So now that's off the cards, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize it was like a timed event or how to get through. That affects the game. My decisions or lack of decisions affects the game. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think, one of the reasons it should probably win, is it's a unifying game, or maybe Hogwarts Legacy. I actually don't think Hogwarts Legacy is anywhere near as good, although I loved it. But they're not divisive. Starfield, Spider-Man, these are divisive games, right? Because the only way to play Spider-Man is on a PS5. The only way to play Starfield is to be on the Xbox system, the ecosphere. Baldur's Gate, anyone, it's for everyone.
Actually, I think it's still not on Xbox yet. But it's on PC.
But it's not being excluded from anything,
true,
right?
it's true.
Whereas Starfield is excluded from PS5, Spider-Man is excluded from everything else, right? The purpose of that game, just like Elden Ring, is specifically to be impartial. We made this game, have fun with it. And the price, it wasn't, which by the way actually floors me that they did it and sold it for 50.
Yeah.
Which
it
I
was
actually
very reasonable.
If I'll say it so far, and I'm not even out of Act 1 on my first playthrough, and there will be many more. If Larian Studios was we undersold the game, if anybody would donate 20, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah.
I've already got 30 hours of entertainment of this thing, and I'm not, there's 3 acts, I'm not out of Act 1. This is going to be a 100-hour playthrough minimum, and I'm being quite good about doing the main story. I'm actually
really? That's you speaking there. How did you do that?
I'm not going to lie to you. I realized that I was not going to finish the game if I just let my urges go, and I've still explored so freaking much. I've got so much shit. My brother's played it 3 or 4 times at this point, and I was like, oh, I found this thing. He's like, what? Where's that? I'm like, oh yeah, you have to do this puzzle and go here.
5th playthrough coming
and then
up.
you have to pass the charisma check with this thief kid, and then you find a hidden wall when you because I was trying to get behind a thing, but you couldn't jump there, but I could jump somewhere else, so I just saw it was there just in case it was one of those buried treasure things, and there was a hidden wall, and it was a mystical wall,
and he's just the fuck now, I need to play 5th time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think Baldur's Gate is so special, in a way that I know people love Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Forza and Armored Core, even. I used to love those games back on the PS1, PS2. They don't do this. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is it's the purest form of gaming. It's just an incredible product for no other reason than to make the best product possible, and it didn't get pushed back. It didn't, it came out when it was ready. no microtransactions, which I'm not necessarily
Yes.
against, but like it was designed to be of the highest possible value in
Yeah.
every way. So anyway, that's my pick in case you didn't catch it. Next game.
Next game.
I am annoyingly, I'm going to say Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tears of Kingdom or whatever it was, the one that came out just now.
Tears of Kingdom.
I don't play it. I'm not a Zelda guy. I'm
not my
not
thing.
even a Switch guy. But first of all, I think it's good to have like a, I guess a family fun kind of game in there, which Baldur's Gate is not. You know, and
Wait, hold on. Bear sex is not family friendly?
that is really creepy. I'm not even going to touch that one. I don't get it. Who you?
Normally, you're really all up with bestiality. It's so strange.
Not on the podcast. We got them in Tender Brand. Before we can go any further, who are you romancing in Baldur's Gate 3?
I'm stuck. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Which rock and which hard place?
So, who's the chick? I haven't met her in my playthrough yet.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of her, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the devil-looking chick.
Karlak, she's my go-to as well.
She looks so fucking smoking. The horns, I'd incorporate that in the sex as well.
Of course. So,
She'll break me, and that's exactly why I like in a partner.
I'm going to say a couple of things. We'll do BD, we'll do the rest of this, I swear. But Baldur's Gate 3, I genuinely think every single one of these characters has something really, really special about them. They're all incredibly interesting. And I mean, also Lae'zel, the weird lizard chick.
Yeah.
I think she's really interesting. And I'm nowhere near like that coming out. I think deep down, she's a really interesting, kind of probably quite sweet
She's got
person.
a prickly exterior, and inside she's going to be all
My
nice.
guess is that she's obviously a warrior, so she solves her problems through violence, similar to Karlak,
Yeah.
the red chick. But where I am, because I've had Karlak and somebody else I forget in my party, where before she was just a bit of a cunt, a couple times now, she has been really quite pleasant about people when they showed expertise at something.
Okay.
Or their ability in combat. She was really quite warm about them. I'm like, there's more to you. There's a lot more to you. And I sense it. But Karlak, awesome and also very, very sweet.
Yeah.
Will kill the shit out of anything, but also really, really sweet. Yeah, I'm all in love. So Shadowheart, they're all good. And I also want to
say
do some of the
Shadowheart was
dudes.
my other one.
Like, every time Shadowheart speaks, I'm like, God damn it. Why did I have to pick the fiery red girl straight away? I'm all about the coloured girls, though. So, like, Mass Effect, Tali, and Liara. I don't know what it is, but, like, exotic colours get me. So, I had to go, like, the magpie. Like, ooh, bright and shiny.
You had the boring...
She's literally a shiny object, I'm like, oh, my God. It's so new.
You're so basic. It's like, oh, shiny thing, come to it.
Yeah, straight up.
I want to know, though, our Guardian. Have you met your Guardian
yes.
yet?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I haven't met the Guardian yet.
I
made my Guardian so smoking hot.
straight immediately.
The hottest chick in the world. Beautiful. And I'm like, if I ever get to see her, I have to see what's...
Also, I'm not convinced that Guardian's not trying to do us over. They're not yet, because I want to see... I'm going to do just standard romance playthroughs to begin with, including Gale and Astarion. I think they're really interesting characters. I'm curious to see what those look like. I'll probably do female characters. I just feel like that works better. No, I'll do a female character for Gale. I'm going to do a dude romance for Astarion.
Okay.
He just got power gay all about him, and I just want to see how that goes. But then I'm going to sly it up. I'm going to try and fuck every single thing in that game. I'm going after our Guardian.
Even the mind flares.
Obviously.
That mouth, you just have to...
I'm wearing anime right now. You think a few tentacles are an issue for me? Come on now. Please. So,
Anime tentacles.
I'm
they're
also
coming
curious
together.
to find out. So, like, for example, in The Witcher 3, your romance options were pretty much, some hookers, and you could bang Kira, whatever, Kira Knightley. But obviously it's Yen or Triss, right?
Yeah.
And if you try and do them both, they set you up. I want to know what happens if you do that. I also, not in my real games, but I want to see what happens. Can you break their hearts and how that looks?
That could be dangerous.
Oh, that's part of the fun.
I want them to do this to me. I want them to be angry with me.
So anyway, what was your?
So yeah, you
who's
said
next
Tears of the
pick?
Kingdoms. I can't
Tears of the
remember.
King. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go on.
Zelda.
We haven't played them, so we
No.
have to. But the problem is that I've seen so much praise for it. I've seen so many reviews of it.
I'm not
It's gonna
from
be in
games
there.
journalists, from people that I trust.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
From what I've seen so far, I have to believe Alan Wake 2 is going to be in there as well.
You think?
Yeah. I do
Alpha,
think
don't you stop typing.
he's already written in about
Of course he has.
I told him, I was like, it came out today, right? Have you finished it? Are you going to send a review to the podcast? He's like, oh, I'm writing something, don't worry. So yeah. I have to believe it's going to be because from what I've seen, even just from the technical demo that I've seen at, from Digital Foundry,
Yeah.
the atmosphere in this game is bloody gorgeous.
Yeah.
And Remedy, man, they're just so good at their craft.
They're not good at being bad.
They love what
They're bad
they
at
do.
being good. No, wait. They're not good at being bad. They're good.
They're
at
good.
making games.
You got lost in your own thing there. They
I got
just
too tricky.
they love their craft, and you can just tell just through the gameplay that it's just so it oozes passion, it oozes everything, and it's fairly unique, not 100% unique like no one else does it, but it's fairly unique in the sense that they're just there doing this thing. They see other people making the Spider-Mans, the Last of Us's, the stuff like that, and they're just like, we're gonna make this really like psychological game. It's gonna be quite nice. It's gonna be all about this, and it's connected to our own universe that we've created, and it's our thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just so great. I'm looking forward to playing
It's something
it.
of a passion project. Obviously, like that's the company's model, but that everything about that similar to Baldur's Gate 3. One of the reasons we give these games so much praise is that like they don't have to go that hard. No one. And I'm not trying to throw like Starfield under the bus or Redfall, but those games came out. It's not been a big deal that they weren't amazing.
Yeah.
And if Alan Wake 2 came out and was like just not talked about in 2 weeks, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And yet here these guys are going this hard so that it has to be talked about. Do you know what I mean? So, no, I feel you. I do feel you. And I'm gonna just throw it out there. I don't know about you, but Starfield's not gonna be on my list.
We're gonna talk about that later. Cool. Yeah.
And that is not and I appreciate my first pick was Spider-Man. That's not a console related thing. It's not which side of the aisle it's on. It's a what itch does it scratch.
Yeah.
And Starfield should have done more of like a Baldur's Gate kind of or Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy
Yeah.
itch scratching, and it didn't get there. So that's why it's not on there, not because it's Bethesda or any of that. In fact, I really wanted it to be on there. I wanted it to be just Sci-Fi Skyrim but updated, that would have been cool. Maybe, I don't know, crazy idea, but have a voice actor.
Who knows, right? Who knows? Why would anybody want that anyway?
Also, don't come at me because Baldur's Gate doesn't have a voice actor. Technically, yes, it does. So get for it.
We've got 2 more spots to make up. You get to pick one, I get to pick one.
Who's going next? Me or you?
I said Alan Wake, so you go now.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't finished it either, by the way.
No, but we've got to make your argument for it, because what makes that over any other game that's going to come on here?
Immersion.
Yeah?
Exploring a world, feeling involved in it, I actually have no idea what the story is, by the way. But that's not the point. I feel like I'm in the world of Harry Potter. I'm experiencing it.
They sold you a vision of being a wizard, being a child in the thing, and they
I got to go to Hogwarts.
They delivered on it.
I got to go to Hogwarts. I got to go to Hogsmeade. I got to fly a broom. I got to do magic. I feel like I'm doing it it's not linear. Like I'm not on rails like the books.
And
like I'm Harry Pottering it.
And the story is a version of whatever happened over there. It's obviously not the same thing. Yep. It's a different story. Yep. There's a plot. There's a twist. It's
quite an interesting story so far, anyway. Yeah.
And you're the character in it.
Yeah.
And that's all we've ever wanted from a Harry Potter.
I got lost in Hogwarts, and like pictures tell you where to go, sort of thing, and like found hidden rooms. Like,
all the details. Yeah, all the small things.
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's the world. It's exactly what we're saying about Spider-Man. It's a different kind of itch, but it's an immersion. I wouldn't say masterpiece. It's not like
there's flaws.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's flaws,
but what I wanted was to have fun in the wizarding world, and it delivered it without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
It's not Game of the Year,
It's not Game of the Year, I don't think.
but I think it should be on that list because it did that.
Can I ask you a question?
Just one.
Do you think Hogwarts Legacy gets nominated at the Game Awards? This is our list right here.
I'm going to say it doesn't because of recency bias. I think it should, and I think it shouldn't win, which I know is a weird thing to say.
To have your name there is still an important thing. It's an
Yeah.
accolade still.
Yeah, I think it should, but I think the rest of our list all will get put on there more, Spider-Man, Alan Wake, Baldur's Gate are much more recent. That's 3 out of 5. Wait, there's 6, isn't there, that they get nominated?
6, yeah.
So that's half the list already, not just because they're recent, but they just came out, So I don't see it.
I think it doesn't get nominated for other reasons.
What are your
Political reasons.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because
I forgot about that.
the issue is that, for those of you guys who don't know how the Game Awards work, the nominations are chosen by judges, and those judges are selected from the game's media, they're selected from certain outlets and stuff like that, and they have a discussion, they vote, and then they take the ones with the most votes, and then they put them in. None of these outlets are going to select Hogwarts Legacy because even though they're anonymous and they have no thing like that, even though they're anonymous, they're going to pretend like it's some sort of pride thing. They're going to pretend that the game...
I just can't support whatever.
It shows such stupid bias because
it has nothing to do with
the 1,000 people that worked on it, all those people that deserve praise for their work, fuck them. My stupid statement is gonna be more important than all of these people's lives that are trying to feed their families and stuff like that. Shut up. I don't care.
It's I get the idea. I get the point, but what's happening is you don't like what the person who created the world. You don't like their position. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And the person that you end up hurting, or the people you end up hurting, have nothing to do with that. Not a say at all, and very clearly put a lot of passion into this game.
Yeah.
And but I'm totally with you. But it does what gaming should do. It immerses you in a world.
Yeah.
And that's why it's on the list for me.
Yeah.
It is, by the way, not the best game.
It's not.
I had graphically it wasn't particularly outstanding. It was good. I had a bunch of artifacting and stuff, like hair, for example, was awful in that game. But all the things that are needed for a game to be good, to make it immersive, are all there. Yeah. And that's the thing. I wish they would stop with those stupid, those flower things, the Merlin.
Oh, yeah, the Merlin trees and stuff like that.
The first one I was like, oh, that was quite fun. And then it was like, oh, there's 200 of them.
Mate. And you have to fucking do that to expand your inventory and stuff like that. I was like, fuck off!
Yeah, no. What I would have preferred
bad game design.
That's bad. That's 100% bad. It's just that, just throw question marks at the map and see what sticks.
Yeah. The Assassin's Creed method.
Yeah. What I want is like I said in Baldur's Gate, where I was trying to get behind, in that first camp, that Emerald Glade that are being attacked by the... Yeah. So there's a goblin in a cage at the back. Yeah. And so I was just exploring back there to see what was back there. And that's where that hidden wall is. Oh, yeah,
I've actually been to there. Yeah. Fucking great.
But the only reason I found it was I was like, that looks like I can stand there. I'm going to see if I can stand there. Save in case I break the game, because I've done that before. I have got to places where like QA testers haven't found, right? Yeah. I'd be a great QA tester. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can get there. It turns out you can, and it breaks the game. And I got there, which most people probably aren't going to do, or a lot of people aren't going to do. And then, like, I managed to pass the perception check or whatever it was, the passive checks that go on. Yeah. And it shimmered. And then I investigated it. And that I feel rewarded for. I'm like, oh, cool, my curiosity paid off. If it's like, oh, there's a question mark, go and find the question mark. Oh, it's this crappy task you have to do 18 of to expand your inventory. No, that's not fun. Yeah. I don't feel special. I don't feel like my curiosity was rewarded. So,
do you know what? I will say something. Similar thing in Spider-Man. There's
fuck Spider-Man.
Fuck Spider-Man. I actually found this kind of annoying. So obviously I have to do all the stuff to get the platinum trophy, which I'm going to do anyway. But there's
you have to. It's literally in the law.
Exactly. But when I got close to the
shill for PlayStation.
When I he didn't know. So
I saw it, but I didn't connect the dots. I forgot you're a corpo shill.
For the audio virgins, he just noticed that I'm wearing a PlayStation hoodie. It's a bright blue hoodie with like a big PlayStation logo. In order for you to upgrade your stuff, you have to get all these kinds of tokens by doing different kinds of activities. And some of the activities unlock later in the game.
Yeah.
And when I went into the final boss battle, and it's like, oh, from this point on, you can't come back to do so. I'm like, cool, I actually want to be upgraded this whole thing. Then I had to do a bunch of these pointless side things to be like, to get these tokens. And you know how many I needed? I was like, this doesn't feel special.
Very many.
Stop doing it. You know, but obviously because you played it and you finished it.
Yeah. You need all the tokens.
Exactly. And it was just too many. I was like, this is a con. This is a con right here. And I mean like a pro and con. Like
There's a difference between feeling busy, and or being busy in the game, having stuff to do, and there being lots. And just having lots of a thing is what I would argue made Valhalla not a great game. Not that, and as much as I hate Ubisoft and the sort of the weird rip-off that Valhalla was, it's that made it not a good game. I think there was a good game in there, probably. But it was probably 20 hours long, and it was surrounded by another 80 hours of just stuff to do.
Nonsense.
Yeah, just throwing question marks at a map, and then, you can't convince me that as you walk up to those question marks, they don't just roll a dice in the back end of the engine. It goes, oh yeah, this one's a viewpoint, this one's a drop. It could be anything. Wouldn't affect
AI
the game
generated. That's all
it wouldn't affect. ChatGPT just decides what you're doing. It wouldn't affect the game hardly at all.
Did you see that they put a chatbot in one of the Boston Dynamics robots?
Oh God!
It's like they didn't see the documentary that you keep mentioning, Terminator.
Oh, the 1985 Terminator, with starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't get it. Why? At one point it was a joke. We make fun of how it's funny.
Yeah.
But then they you're doing it. You're doing it. Stop doing it.
It gets worse. We'll do some AI talk real quick. So they put an AI into a combat drone. Now, it wasn't a real combat drone.
I think I remember this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the combat drone was artificial, meaning that it thought it was in an AI, but it wasn't. I think, or it may have been.
It was a simulation or something, right?
But it wasn't actually in a combat drone.
Right.
But they told this drone, basically, you get points because you want to be good at this thing for destroying like assets, taking out military targets, etc. And then they said, well, like these assets, they're friendly. You can't take them out, but it wanted the points.
Yeah.
So one of the things it did was it took out the instructor. And if that guy's dead, then it can't tell it not to take out the points. So it took it out of points. They changed that. So then it took out the communication towers. So the instructor couldn't tell it not to take out the points. Like, guys.
Do you see what's happening
and
here?
This is like an amoeba level of like AI, right? This is
already smarter than you.
There are multiple documentaries about this. Okay, Arnold's in like 5 of them.
Do you know? We'll talk about this later. We'll get too far off topic otherwise. We'll talk about it towards the end. So as we were saying, video games.
Yes.
So what pick did we say just now?
Hogwarts
Legacy. We said Hogwarts Legacy.
So you've got the final pick, right?
I think Hogwarts Legacy is a good choice. I think it'll be on there.
Again, not the best game, and actually, in terms of like gaming, kind of mid. I enjoyed it, and I loved
the experience you got out of it.
And I loved the ability to change the spells and upgrade and stuff like that. And I could choose what spells I had.
Yeah.
And actually, that aspect of doing things was quite fun. Like those wizarding duels, those were quite engaging. But overall, like gameplay wise, kind of mid. But that's not why it's on the list.
It was you being in one of the stories of Harry Potter.
Exactly, and that ironically is what Starfield should have done.
Yeah.
Like we always knew the combat wasn't going to be amazing. That's not why anyone was going to play it. And if they'd have done more Harry Potter-y, but just Star Wars, sci-fi. I knew the word. I know words. I have the best words.
You have the best words.
I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come, Guardian.
Was that in this pocket? That was an extra bit. That was out of context.
No one gets it.
Whoops.
You just randomly started talking about coming.
Oh god!
If you're on Patreon, you'll see that clip.
Oh god! That's what Starfield should have done, and then I think it probably would have been on the list, even if it was not quote unquote good.
Yeah.
What's your final pick?
Final pick.
Yeah.
And I'm torn between two games, but I think, as we've said with gaming and how they're supposed to be an experience and how they're supposed to be something that you can show someone and then go, oh wow, that's amazing.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I knew you were gonna say that.
And I chose that over Final Fantasy 16.
I know, and you're a weeb now.
And they're both great, in my opinion. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, just because the feeling of being a Jedi is something very unique, very special, and it resonates with a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy 16 is great as well. The music is god tier in that fucking game.
Oh yeah.
And because it's weeby and because it's like completely unlock your mind and make whatever the fuck you want with these huge icons, these huge monsters and stuff like that, you can do so many cool things. That's great. But Star Wars, the Force, lightsabers, droids, some of the lo-fi-ishness of it as well, where like you've got clunky buttons and stuff like that. The noises, they trigger that nostalgia. I
love that
inside
they kept that like 70s. This is what the future will look like, but we have 70s technology, so the buttons are like
yeah, all of that. And they stepped it up so much from the previous game. Should mention as well here, I did get flown out to Los Angeles to play the fucking game early.
Just to be clear, you only chauffeur the games to give you free stuff. I just want to.
So, but that isn't
so
good.
If Microsoft had blown you out, yeah.
Starfield isn't the game of the year, bro.
Of course.
They flew me out there, so just keep that. I won a competition as well, but
did you play it on the PS5 or on the free computer that they gave you?
The free top of the line AMD PC with the highest graphics card. There you go. No,
it's
I played
4090, isn't it?
No, that's Nvidia. This one is 7900 XTX, which is whatever the top is right now. That's what it is right now. No, I played it on PS5 because I wanted the trophies.
Okay, cool, fair enough.
But it stepped up so much from the previous one, especially when it comes to the story in terms of the characters and the connections and romances. Okay. The Merrin romance that they have in it is so fucking good.
Cool. So,
and they had also what a lot of people are calling an Uncharted moment. There's a moment where like high stakes. You have to do everything pinpoint right, and then you're like dodging and diving and dipping and whatnot through this massive behemoth that you're trying to dodge. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this is fucking great. And I was sold there. Do
you know what's really funny is I obviously avoided picking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because so far, and I'm not very far into it, it happened to catch me at a really busy time. And then Baldur's Gate and Phantom Liberty and stuff came out. I'm only at like... So I finished the heist at the beginning, and I got to the first planet where there's something in space going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not very far in. I obviously assumed early on Merrin was going to be a romance, so obvious. I'm really glad to hear that all that stuff is good. Up to the point that I'm at, I'm on the planet with the weird goo, the ooze.
Yeah.
It's like first planet. At this point, I found the game really, really easy to put down and not pick back up. But I'm gonna. Once I finish at least one playthrough of Baldur's Gate and probably finished Cyberpunk, I will do it because I remember Fallen Order giving me that sense of Jediness. That sounds like an STI. I'm sorry, man. No, your boyfriend's giving you Jediness.
The tests have come back positive for
Vagininus. You're HIV Aladdin.
Yeah. He says it in such a... I've gone back so many times to try and figure out which way he means it. But he says it
good delivery.
In such an ambiguous
Aladdin.
way. You are HIV Aladdin.
Audio virgins, you're missing out.
Watch the YouTube video.
I'm genuinely really glad to hear that Jedi Order Survivor is that good, and that the romance is good, because it's stupid. I know we're not playing dating simulator, but I like human stories, even with non-humans.
This is the thing. Look, as much as we like to avoid it, really, well, some people like to avoid it. We're humans. We're people. We like
People
companionship.
fall in love.
Exactly. It's part of our lives. It's part of the way we're wired. And when we see it done so well, it's alluring. You want that for yourself as well. You like to see good things.
If you're in like life and death situations where your life depends on them, their life depends on you. You're going through these. You're working towards this greater cause.
Yeah.
You're spending all this time together. That it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It just makes sense. And of course, everybody wants to slam alien puss.
Exactly. That alien
Assuming they
puss.
have one.
Yeah, it's true. It could just be some sort of fold between their neck.
Or like egg sacs.
Yeah. It could be
Just
like
or what if they make like seahorses and you're the one that gets pregnant?
that could be cool.
I don't think you've thought that through.
What if it's like fish though, where it's like, okay, I'll lay my eggs on the ground and you just come on top of them? Well, this is pointless.
Oh,
This isn't
that's
that
not
fun.
how I wanted to do this.
They just watch you. It's like, go ahead.
Oh, well, thanks very much for the babies.
There you go.
Yeah, great.
I will say though, Jedi Survivor did have quite a few bugs, especially on launch.
I know.
Yeah, so
I know.
You
Of course I know.
found them all. But
There's there's a reason I only got to the first planet because I was just like, I got bugs on the goop planet. I got bugs moving, force pushing. There's some like rocks that you need to, or crates you need to move to jump stuff that wouldn't move. I got many issues. Yeah.
but at least they didn't do the thing where you forgot everything you were taught by your Jedi Master. At least they didn't do that.
Big improvement.
Yeah.
That's actually genuinely, I would take bugs over something as lazy as that. So yeah, cool.
But I do like the characters, even the bad guys. They're so fucking fantastic. Anyway, that's our list. Let me just review it for everybody. It's Marvel Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of Kingdom, Alan Wake 2, Hogwarts Legacy, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Ironically, not a single game I finished. And only 2 that I've actually played.
I've finished 1 on that list, Marvel Spider-Man, which is odd because that just came out a week ago.
Jedi Survivor?
No. The only reason for that is because I
love it.
they gave me a fucking PC.
This is
and
the
I just
real
did it.
gaming podcast.
Yes.
This is the difference between all those other shills that play the games. We live in the real world. We've
have.
played as much of the game as we have had time.
Yes, exactly.
Jedi Survivor's been out for like 6 months. And I'm on the first planet.
Yeah.
So we're real gamers.
The problem is that so many games came out this year that
It was rough.
and
It was rough.
And we don't have time normally anyway. So when it comes out, okay, so like I need like a solid month to play a game. Oh, 2 weeks later another game comes out. 2 weeks later another game comes out.
Yeah.
But with Jedi Survivor, I was recording it for Let's Plays, and then I got super busy and I couldn't record it, and that was what slowed me down and threw everything off
Done to
schedule.
me and Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it's tough that.
God, I haven't finished Ratchet and Clank. What's wrong with me? I'm at the final fight as well. God damn it.
I
I hate my life.
You have a shit life
It's true.
because you have to talk to me.
That's what I thought we were talking about, yeah.
Let me now go through because I asked people on Twitter what they thought would be
Huge mistake.
what they think should be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, buddy.
Chris Cobra SS said there were 6 games this year. He goes, I've just been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 the whole time. I've only played 2 games that were released this year, so the best are Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16. There are no other submissions. If he's only played 2 games that come out this year, then I guess he can only nominate those 2, right?
I haven't played most of the games.
I was just gonna say we just said we didn't play. No, we was. That's fine. You wanted to mention games that you've played. That's fine. They're very good picks. I've heard Diablo was great on launch, but then I had seen videos
Wasn't
of
Diablo
people.
the one with like, don't you all have phones? Wasn't that?
Yes, but they very much walked back from that.
Cool.
Very much. But then afterwards, I heard that it wasn't very good, and it got very predatory in terms of microtransactions and stuff like
That's
that.
not good.
Anyway, but I'm glad you played it and you say it's good, so that's good. Alpha Aquila. I appreciate you putting the emphasis because I can't do it.
No, you can't.
Can you guess what his ones are? Personally, from
No.
from the games that I've played this year, which aren't games that came out this year, Alan Wake's
Crazy.
Alan Wake's American Nightmare,
Mm.
Alan Wake Remastered,
Okay, yeah.
Alan Wake 2 confirmed, baby. So he hasn't played it, but it's been confirmed. 2 more slots, and I've only played.
That. He never mentions it.
He never mentions Alan Wake. It's so strange.
I do love how passionate he gets about the things he's passionate about.
Yeah, I mean,
Did that Star Trek game ever come out?
I think it did. And it shows that it was very good because he never talks about it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Cass wrote in and he says, "See, this is difficult because there are two answers. My personal list: Spider-Man 2, Jedi Survivor, Hogwarts Legacy, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, and Lies of P."
Okay. Shit list.
Fucking shit tier list, mate. Spider-Man, get the fuck out of here. Objectively, he says though.
okay.
He says objectively, so we can't argue with it.
Right.
It's the
This
rules.
one's the true list. The
list.
truth.
Exactly. Mario Wonder, Zelda.
This fucking guy.
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, and Alan Wake 2. It's a fair list, I think. I think it's a fair
Both
list.
of those, to be fair,
Yeah,
are fair.
I'm gonna say like your personal list. It sounds like a gamer's list, right? Whereas the other one, the objective one, that like we
Yeah.
said,
Ours was an objective list.
ours was quintessential gaming. This is the way
Yeah.
that it should be. However, if we're gonna go into politics, you know Zelda's gonna be on there. You
Yep.
know Mario Wonder's gonna be on there. Even though Mario Wonder sold less than Spider-Man 2 apparently, which
Yeah, well,
is
it's not a PlayStation banger.
well. Here's the thing: Nintendo games notoriously sell
Yeah.
mad copies. Because
Even
everyone,
if it's a re-release.
even if it's because parents just seem to buy it for their kids.
Yeah.
I don't understand. They're like waiting by the door and they just keep buying them. But this one didn't sell as much as I think. So strange that.
It's an odd one, isn't it?
But I like your list. It's a proper gamer's
It's
list.
a good
don't
list.
worry.
They're both good lists.
He did say something else here as well. Hold on, let's have a little. Let's have a little butchers. I don't think remakes and remasters should be considered for Game of the Year. By the way, We
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed, right there. It's great they came out and they're good, but not Game of the Year anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
Vit writes in and he says Spider-Man 2, Jedi Survivor, Starfield, and all the games Eddie didn't finish playthrough.
I'd like to know
He's
if
been
he's played
following-
Starfield.
I don't know if he has actually.
Because that, I think, changes it. If he's played it, I don't contest it. I guess I would say, for example, we picked Zelda and neither of us have played it. I don't intend to play it. But the reason it's on that list is it ticks a certain type of gaming box and people who enough people that I trust. I actually haven't had a single person say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
I've only heard greatness. And so for that reason, it goes on there. But I think I made my point about Harry Potter versus Starfield.
Yeah.
That's the reason I picked Harry Potter over Starfield was exactly that. I felt like I almost wish Starfield had been worse because I think we'd still be talking about it.
It falls into this area where the Metacritic score, I think it's at an 80.
Okay.
It's at the score where it's like it's your spot if you want to, if it might not it's your spot if you're so, and it's in that grey area where you can't fault someone for going, oh, I had a really good time, because like, oh yeah, well clearly there's stuff there that people enjoy, but then there's stuff that it's like, okay, it's really dated in this area, it's really dated in that area, this isn't very good, and it's like, okay, but there are some people that are enjoying it. There are some good things about it, so you can't slag it off. It needs to.
I'm also a little
it sucks when a game is just.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one of the things one of the problems. So like, Cyberpunk got so much press that whenever they fixed something and made an announcement, enough people just from hate were coming back to like beef them out. But then the message was getting out that things are changing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Starfield has made anyone enough people passionate enough that it's going to be worth cyberpunking, i.e. going from whatever it came out as and ending up as something really great.
Yeah.
It's much closer to being great than Cyberpunk was in 2020 when it released. And I don't think it's ever going to get there because it hasn't polarized people. There aren't people that love it or hate it. It's not Marmite like Cyberpunk was. It's just a game. The next Bethesda game.
Yeah.
And ironically, the one after 76. So it's like the bar was low. No one's really expecting anything. And I feel like had it been really polarizing, good and bad, or good or bad, either one, we might end up with a Starfield that in a year or two, the Xbox are like, look how amazing Starfield is. And then we're forced to go, yeah, but it wasn't when it came out. And like, they'd have us on the back foot with something.
Do you know what? I just don't think it. I don't think it will be like that. I don't think it will, because
That's what I'm saying. It won't get there. It could.
Yeah.
It's got the bones to be there. That could happen. They could add story stuff. They could do all sorts of things to it. But there's no incentive because, one, people don't buy games on Xbox. And two, it doesn't have the passionate player base. Like the Cyberpunk guys, the guys that played it from the day one and loved it are still playing it on PC.
Yeah.
It's like the Destiny guys. All they play is Destiny.
Hooky really loved the Cyberpunk, and he kept on banging on about it.
So there was always that fan club talking about it, making movies, talking about the updates, sort of preaching to the choir, the people that already loved it, and enough people that were paying attention to it so they could beef it out because of how bad the launch was, that the news kept getting out of the changes. Or you'd watch one video and then a recommended one would come up with an awesome change that happened, or something like that. That's not going to be there for Starfield. I haven't seen a single thing recommended to me for Starfield, and it's not that I don't watch anything like that. It should be in my recommend. There should be game things in there.
I did the research because I want to know what's going on about it, but the amount of videos I watched, it still doesn't. There's not enough passionate people making content about it to recommend videos. That's the issue, and that's kind of telling that the game isn't
and I also
as good as it should be.
Something that I see. This is one that I saw for Cyberpunk earlier. It was a one of those shorts.
Just by the way, you're talking a little bit over the
one of those shorts.
Yeah.
It was had hundreds of thousands of views. So I'm like, okay, I'll click that. And I can't remember what it was. I think it was a picture of Tony Stark in the first Iron Man suit that he makes in the cave. And the guy was like, "Did you know there's a reference to Iron Man 1 in Cyberpunk?" He's like, "If you go to this place in this cave, you see Tony Stark is kidnapped, and you can read a shard where it's like, I've been kidnapped, they want me to make missiles, but if I make them I'm going to be killed." And then there's this thing where he's like obviously building a suit, and then obviously people are destroyed, and like there's nods to it, right? And I think there are some plates and like the welding helmet thing, there's stuff like that there. And that video had something like 1 million views or something, and it was intriguing enough that I clicked it. And then do you know what happened? I got a bunch of other, you missed these 3 things in Cyberpunk. I haven't seen a single one of those for Starfield, because I would click it if there was like a Starfield, like a nod to Alien as an example, which there might be. If that short came up, it's like, did you know Alien was in Starfield? I'd watch that, and then it should, the algorithm should feed me more stuff. I haven't seen a single one of those, which means one or two things: either that stuff's it's not in there, people aren't passionate enough to make it, or the people that are passionate enough to make it don't have enough of an audience where it's reaching other people.
Yeah.
All of this is just a sign of that there's not enough life in it, which is sad. Yeah. Anyway.
Car 56. Car. He writes in, he says, what I feel will get nominated: Spider-Man 2, Starfield, Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom, Hogwarts Legacy, Jedi Survivor, Baldur's Gate 3. What I would be okay winning: Spider-Man 2, Jedi Survivor maybe, Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. He's a big Ghostbusters fan. In case you guys don't know by his profile picture, by his constant messages into the show about Ghostbusters, by his Ghostbusters underwear, by his Ghostbusters bread spread, by his Ghostbusters outfit that he makes his mum wear around the house. Yeah. All of that.
I also heard Alpha likes Alan Wake, but you wouldn't know it from...
Is that confirmed, or is that like a rumor?
You have to really peel back the layers. He's like an onion.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Well, I didn't notice that, unfortunately.
I've seen the words Alan and Wake in one sentence of his before, so I think I'm just reading between the lines. But Alan Wake,
it's a bit of a stretch.
It's a bit of a reach.
It's a bit of a reach there, mate. You're gonna strain yourself reaching that far, mate.
I pulled something.
Karg brings us on to the point. Starfield, we both think is not going to get nominated, despite what Car's saying right here, and probably what a couple of other people are saying.
Shouldn't be nominated.
Yes.
I think... So here's the thing. The real question is it going to be a fair list?
Yeah.
Are the nominations going to be about what were the best games? If they are, I don't think Starfield should be nominated. But the question is, will it be? Maybe.
I'm going to do something that my head is telling me not to do.
Okay.
I'm going to have faith.
Okay.
I'm gonna have faith that it's not gonna turn out that way.
Cool.
That they're not gonna nominate, because even the critic reviews were coming out and it's like, all right, there was like, a handful of Xbox outlets that were like, 10 out of 10, this is the best game ever made.
Yeah.
It's got the Xbox Studios logo on it. Of course it's the best game ever
Obviously the
made.
best.
Don't worry about what's in the game. It says Xbox Studios right there. That's what
Obviously
matters,
the best.
okay, guys? So it's
Obviously
the
the
best. And Todd Howard, he's the best thing since sliced bread. And
Of course.
and yeah, okay, the engine's pretty dated and everything they've done is pretty dated inside it, but that's because that's how it was supposed to be. It was intended to be crap. So
Yeah, people like these kinds of games. Okay?
exactly. But I don't think those are the guys that are going to be actually doing the judging. And I think the people that are doing the judging, if there's one outlier that goes, yeah, Starfield for sure, it's not going to matter because it's an average at the end of the day and it's like tallies. So if there's 5 people that say Starfield, out of the 25 people, that doesn't make a difference in there. And even if it does get nominated, it's not going to win Game of the Year, because
I think there's no way it reasonably wins Game of the Year.
with everything else that's come out this year, as well as it being a hard year to win Game of the Year for anybody, it's not even close to some of the contenders that we mentioned right here. So here's the thing. Some people believe that Starfield should get nominated, at least nominated.
Disagree, but yeah.
Because Xbox have had such a bad run at video games.
That's
and
not how making good games works.
Exactly. And this is their first, connect with the ball in terms of baseball. It's like it's been swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. And they're Jimmy here this time.
Yeah. He hit the ball, the guy behind him caught it, but they're like, just run anyway.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And some people believe it for that reason.
Yeah.
Some people are blind and they think that this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And they think that Baldur's Gate and Spider-Man and Hogwarts Legacy and Jedi Survivor, all these other games are shit, which is just crazy talk.
Yeah.
But there are people that think that they should get this because they've done something good for once. I don't think you guys deserve any conversation in gaming. I think you deserve any conversation in anything.
Something good for once. That wasn't what Starfield was.
Yeah.
What
it is something competent, something that at least turns on, something that has a story
isn't
built into
broken.
it. Exactly.
Yeah. At best it's middle of the pack. It is literally mid.
It didn't Redfall.
No.
It didn't out of the gate be so broken like Cyberpunk to warrant so much hate towards it.
Yeah.
It was just I don't feel like I missed out by not playing that.
No.
Okay, continue. Goodbye.
Now, I have more faith that we live in a corpo dystopian future where Microsoft's going to pay every single one of these judges and they're all going to say, it's not my game of the year, but Starfield's got to be on the list. And it's going to be in there.
Should we put a bet down for this?
What do you want to bet? Starfield gets nominated. What's the bet?
I'm hoping that this year
Well, if you win Humanity is Intact, we have a future. We go out to the stars, we colonize Mars.
I'm hoping that this year, when it comes around to Conbrosations Day, we can do something a little bit better. We can do something in terms of this channel that revives and makes us feel great again and stuff like that. So when it comes to that day, where we normally split the pizza, you're paying for my side of it. So you buy the pizzas. Do we have an oral? And
I love the emphasis. I'm going to come.
Do we have an oral arrangement, sir?
Yeah, but we're shaking on it. So
a physical arrangement as well. No,
it actually exists. Yeah, I'll put a pizza bet on it.
Cool.
And the thing is, there's no losing here. Because either you're right, and we don't live in a corpo dystopian reality, or you're wrong, and I don't have to pay for pizza. And we're still in a corpo dystopian.
Your pizza's hollow victory.
A victory, yeah. Yay.
Did you see there was
Man, it feels good to be right. Yum, yum, yum.
There was a video I saw, and it was a TikTok video,
Yeah.
and a guy stitched with it. This female TikToker's use 2 fingers and then a thumb, and that equals pleasure. And the guy goes, huh. And then he picks up a pizza. And then he goes, I was dead, absolutely dead.
That's pretty funny.
Audio virgins, you're gonna have to go to the video to check that one out. Unfortunately, orgasm. Anyway,
He's gonna come.
I'm gonna come, Guardian. Yeah, I just don't, and it's not out of any sort of hate. It's not any sort of.
I actually wanted Starfield
we
to
were
be on this
rooting
list.
for it, man. We were rooting for it.
And the thing is, our list isn't perfect games. Like
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, definitely not perfect.
Yeah.
Got plenty of weak acting in there, plenty of weird artifacting and bugs. Like
Weird types of gameplay stuff, like the Merlin trees we
Yeah.
said.
Weird.
I mentioned it for Spider-Man as well with those tokens and
Yeah, plenty of stuff that I
like,
don't
they're good
like.
missions, but why make it so fucking lopsided at the end? of them?
Plenty of stuff like that, but it scratches an itch.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was that. Like we were really hopeful. Do you remember when we saw the inside of that spaceship? And we were like how like big and bulky, like it feels astronauty and like.
I think they're gonna make us feel like a space explorer.
Yeah. Like I wanted it to be that. That's all they had to do. It didn't have to be good. It didn't have to have like a great story. It just had to have like good characters and make me feel like I was exploring. That's all they had to do, and they didn't. And that's why it's not in. Not because it's an Xbox thing. I genuinely couldn't care less about that. It didn't deliver.
We even siloed this off. I mean, even though we made the argument that's like, because some people were saying, if this Starfield turns out to be a 10 out of 10 game, perfect, amazing, game of the generation thing, that means Xbox is back on track. And it's like, that isn't what
that's
that
not
means.
what
that means. That means that they made a great game here.
Yeah.
The rest of the studios are not attached to this game. They do not. They're nothing to this, and they're probably halfway through whatever development they've got.
Hopeful.
Is that hopeful?
Hopeful, and hopefully, and this is what I wanted. I wanted, well, for one, the SEC not to allow the purchase, but then for Starfield to do so well that they were like, people will buy our games if we make good games. Let's do some more of that.
That's what I wanted.
And we get back to like a golden age of like, Gears of War comes out and Halo, and then you're like, you got God of War and Ghost of Tsushima. And stuff. Do you know what I mean? They're going head to head.
So fucking good.
Doesn't that sound so good? That's the world I want to live in, right? And then split down the middle on anything you want. You're playing your Baldur's Gates, you're playing Elden Ring, Call of Duty, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in the world where I'm not only torn about what am I going to put my time into today, but also like, damn, I need to buy an Xbox because there's some stuff I can only play on an Xbox unless I want to wait a year or two for it to go to like Game Pass, because I have to buy it because that's the healthy model. I have to buy a PS5, 6, whatever it is down the line, because there's only some stuff there. I'll probably get a PC because there's some things that, why wouldn't you want to play it with these sorts of graphics or this sort of thing, right? Or these options, like Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be better to play on PC, right? Like, that's the world I want to live in. And I was kind of really genuinely hoping Starfield would kick that off, and would kick off enough. If it was good enough and people were buying it enough, that somebody could have said, do you know what, Phil? If we make more games like this, they'll buy them and they'll be happy about it.
That was the thing that I really needed.
They'll be happy about it. We can do the Game Pass for like the library of stuff, what everybody talks about, but like the new stuff, the bangers. Like we can say, look, if you want more of these, we're going to have to switch models to make more like this, and they'll eat it up. Imagine. And then Phil goes, well, we got $70 billion burning a hole in our pocket. Get me some ideas.
Do you know what?
Do you know what? I'm greenlighting the first 10 ideas you give me. Let's get them going.
That's actually the biggest crime that this game didn't achieve.
I know.
That caused or whatever. Because had it been amazing, had it set the world on fire, it would have completely turned the ship around from that stupid comment that Phil Spencer made, saying that good games don't sell consoles.
Ridiculous.
Fuck, absolutely. So don't try. That's the only bit that was missing from his sentence.
Yeah.
That's the real crime that Starfield didn't. Starfield being genuinely middle of the pack. That's the real crime.
Aggressively
right there.
okay.
That's the real crime, that it didn't set the fucking heads of Xbox straight to be like, make great games. No buts. No buts.
We had it wrong.
Make great games.
Imagine someone walks into that boardroom and Phil's finishing up saying, and so that's why we're not making good games, and they go, sorry, Phil, I just got the sales numbers. Starfield was so good that we sold this many, we made this much money, And you know how PlayStation are dominating because of the games that we've dissected over and over again? Well, this game did that for us. And yeah, we'll have to play catch up this generation. But if we set ourselves up, we can actually be on par or like closing in next gen with like some IP, some brand new IPs. We can revive some old IPs. We're just going to follow this recipe, or we'll follow this recipe for the things where it's appropriate, and we'll copy their homework on some other ones. Like, not going to. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like they've got Indiana Jones, rip off Uncharted.
Yeah.
Uncharted just ripped off the movies anyway. Like, just rip them off. Just copy the homework, please, seriously, and then give me what would be like give me a night version of Ghost of Tsushima. Do you know what I mean?
A night version.
You know what I mean, like a knight, like
I see what you mean.
Sword fighting knight.
Lords of Fallen. I think that's a night game. It's more like a Souls game actually, but it's got a knight in it.
Ghost of what's something knightly?
So Camelot.
Ghost of Camelot. Ghost of Lionheart, isn't there? Like Richard Lionheart. Yeah, that's a real brer. Freaking like rip it off. Copy their homework. Just don't make it too obvious. You know, make sure you put your name on it at the top. Like Starfield. I'm not putting this on Starfield as a negative towards Starfield. I'm saying that's, to be clear, I'm not saying like that's what I was judging Starfield against. That's what Starfield could have done for us. And it just came out. This is old, but for those of you that remember going from Black Ops to Modern Warfare 3, from Modern Warfare 2 with the mic system, they just used the same mic system, and it moved on 2 years, and the quality was so much better. That's all they did, is they made the next one in their line. They made Fallout 77, except it's in space. That's all they did. And it's not Bethesda's job to save Xbox. It's not Bethesda's job to save gaming. But had they come out with what was effectively, you know, a Hogwarts Legacy in terms of the scratching that itch, or, you know, in our wildest dreams, a Baldur's Gate 3 in space, they actually might have saved X. Do you know what I mean? Like they could have started
saved
the argument.
Xbox, saved gaming in general.
Getting that snowball
afterwards.
rolling.
Exactly.
And then Xbox goes, hold on, let's look at where we were when we were competitive. Oh yeah, we had Halo with the Master Chief. 343 what didn't exist. Let's make them not exist. We had Gears of War, and it was good. You know, like there was stuff you could only play on Xbox.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck, but we need to transition away from this model that doesn't make us any money anyway. We're losing money on, what was their break even again for Game Pass?
It used to be 50, but then they went, if they have to reach their more recent thing in the court documents, they want to reach 100 million by 2027
for break even.
That's their goal, to say like, okay, this is worth pursuing and whatnot. It might be that's the level of profit that they'll get to. They'll be like, okay, continue going with this. 100 million subscribers. Last recorded number 25 million.
After 7 years, no, 5 years.
I think it's 5 years. Something like that.
It's 5, 6 years. Drop it, man. It's not working. You're not getting there. Like, obviously their target was to do this in 10 years. They're 5 or 6 in, and they're nowhere close. And we know for a fact they've gone backwards at least twice. In recent years, they were up at 28, then slid back. Like, had this been a Baldur's Gate 3 in space, they might have gone, do you know what? We're capable of this, but we're putting our resources in all these weird places. $200 million or whatever it is to get something on day one that hardly anyone plays and doesn't make us any money and we lose money, or $200 million to a studio to make something that people will buy. And you know what? If they're determined to win on price, keep the games at 50. Keep the current modern standard and just keep it at 50. Go, look, maybe Sony wants you to pay 70, but we'll
I was going to say, that's a fucking good strategy.
That is a play. You got to pay the same for the thing, but over the life of the console.
That lights a fire under Sony. Sony. You're making them expensive, we're making them cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I mean,
I will say that I can see downsides to that as well.
It still has the same negative things to like developers, publishers, stuff like that. Because while we're talking about Sony, it also affects every third party as well. And they're like, we can't sell it for that price.
Yeah. But, well, also, like, if they're going to pay $200 million to get a game on Game Pass day one, they can make up the difference to the company to sell it at like quote unquote a loss,
Yeah.
right? To get people on the platform using it, even if it's just people are more enticed to use their Xbox, so that they use Netflix on their Xbox and they make their money in the back end of that, or they do their
Yeah.
microtransactions through Fortnite. Like, that's still worth it. Like, there are so many ways they could make this work that aren't what they're doing that are good. And I would also argue that while it would suck to then have to Sony to be like, well, our games need to be 70, sorry, right? I'm okay with that. And also with the current quality, like, frankly, Starfield doesn't deserve to be a $70 game. It's not worth 70. But I could see people getting it for 50 if it had been, you know, really, let's say just good, and going, yeah, this is good, you know? I really wanted another golden age.
I know, bro. I know. We were so close, and
we could have been there. We believe their hype.
We're in. It sucks to think of where we are now. We're in the era of consolidation, buying and locking away games from other people, and PlayStation are now making multiplayer games. What kind of fucking world are we living in right now? Everything's upside down. It's all so shit.
Yeah. Well,
the only thing I will
great games coming out.
The only thing I will say about PlayStation, at least with the live games, is at least we haven't seen what they've done yet. We suspect it's not going to work out because we're very much into our story games. But at least let them bring it out, and then we go, "I told you so."
Absolutely. Like, it's just, look. I'm happy. I'd really like to be wrong about it.
Yeah.
I'd love for Sony to come out and make a couple of like multiplayer games that mean that when Xbox takes or Microsoft takes COD away, that actually don't need to worry. And then Xbox are going to be forced to go, oh, look, we tried to outpay for stuff. It isn't working. They just keep making better games than what we've got. The only thing we have left is to make good games.
Yeah.
That's not going to be what happens, though. So they're going to shit the bed with the multiplayer, almost certainly.
Yeah. That's most likely.
Unless they bring out the duels in Ghost of Tsushima 2. Then, oh yeah, I need to start my propaganda campaign against the devs. That reminds me.
You need to do that because they're going to announce that surely soon, right? Surely.
It doesn't matter if they announce it or not. I don't care if it's in the works or not. They're still getting I'm going to start a terror campaign.
They even like showed the trailer. And
LinkedIn,
like, anyway, let's move on, bro. That was a very good discussion. Appreciate it, bro. This is the True Gamer Podcast.
That's right.
Coming to your eyes and ears every Sunday. Mostly Sundays.
Sometimes on the weekends.
Sometimes on the weekend. YouTube.com.
Every other Sunday.
Yeah, every other Sunday. That's right. At youtube.com/Conbrosations1. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit that like button for us. Subscribe to the channel to get every podcast as and when it happens because you love us so much. And if you are listening on podcast services like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, etc., please rate us 5 stars over there because it's awesome and it helps us rise those ranks. There's a lot of great people over there. Thank you so much, you audio virgins. If you want to take your support that extra mile, though, if you want to take it that one step further, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations. He's dabbing, by the way.
It's not a dab.
It's dabbing by then. /Conbrosations. And kick us a couple of bucks a month. And have your name read out as a true gamer. Get this podcast the day that it comes out. Day it's recorded, sorry. And be part of the elite group. The elite gamers over there. The true gamers who support us at the $5 tier are Gamsmaster, Sheps is Crusty Right Now, Sab2557, Gerald Tucker, Mikey T, the Gamer Giant. He's a big gem.
He's a massive human being.
He is. Fishy, Cobra SS, Dagenham Dan, Adam Sunling, Alpha Aquila, Max H, and Super Whale Ben. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here at Conbrosations of the True Game Podcast. If you don't want to kick us a couple of bucks, though, we totally understand. No hard feelings. I wouldn't fuck that shit. But we appreciate you regardless for just being here. Okay, our next topic.
Yep. We have a next topic.
We do. How's that? Oh yeah, sorry. Here we go. Spider-Man 2 has released.
Yes, it has.
In the time that we spoke on the last podcast,
yep,
some people have discussed yet again the length of video games. So,
yeah,
Spider-Man 2, if you blitz through everything and you don't smell the flowers, you don't enjoy anything, you fast travel everywhere, and you do just the story, you can complete the game in 10 hours.
That's pretty disappointing.
If you are a normal person...
Now, in fairness, like you say, no one is, except speedrunners.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay,
If
cool.
you're obviously weak as fuck because you haven't got any other tokens. You can't enjoy it. You're not stopping to save anybody on the way. You're not being Spider-Man.
You're not being a hero.
You're not being a hero there.
And you're not enjoying yourself.
If you play it the normal way, 20 hours.
That's a good stint.
Right? And then it's 30 hours to do full completionist to get all of the tokens, all the story stuff, all the side stuff like that.
Quite nice, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people, clearly the Xbox people, were raising it as $70 for 10 hours of content. That's terrible right there.
Cool.
Give me your take on video game length, even though we've said it many times before.
Kind of contradictory, right? Because I brought up Valhalla earlier being way too long for not enough game. Similarly, like I don't have a problem with the game being short. The Last of Us 1 is like 8 hours or 13 hours, something like that. Like if you just go the whole way, right?
Yeah.
And then equally, I'm like 30 hours deep into my first playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not even a third of the way through it. The game should be as long as it needs to be, and give me space to fuck around extra, right? So my version of mainlining is going in the general direction of the story.
Yeah.
And that should take me realistically about 20 hours, roughly. Would be a nice length.
Yeah.
I will say 10 hours of like hardcore content is still better value for your money than going to the cinema and watching like No Way Home. Although I love No Way Home, by the way.
Yeah.
But like, it's better value for money. I'm getting more entertainment, and I'm getting a better kind of entertainment because I'm Spider-Manning, not watching Spider-Man, right? I'm not watching a guy in tights. I'm inside the guy in tights.
Phrasing, Jesus. I'm inside of the guy who's in tights.
I'm going to come. So, God damn it. So, well, how long did it take to beat Stray? I really enjoyed Stray.
Stray was very short. I mean, there was a trophy to beat the thing in like, I think it was like 3 hours.
Time to beat Stray.
So
5 hours.
The game itself is like 5 hours. There you go.
I really enjoyed it. Now, it wasn't a $7 game.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that. And it was a very unusual game. Also, games can be oppressively long. I don't want a game to just keep me busy. I want to have things that I cannot stop doing. Right? So, again, to pick Valhalla, not to beef on Ubisoft, but, you know, frick Ubisoft, like, that game was not considerate of my time. The Witcher, Baldur's Gate 3, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, God of War 2018, Horizon, like, these are games that I couldn't stop playing and put tons of time into. I invested because I was loving it. So the idea that, like, that there's a right length for games is kind of stupid on its face. And also, I get the impression that 10 hours is like, you do nothing else.
Nothing.
You swing directly to the marker, you do the mission, the next mission pops up, you go to that mission, like there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
That's not how anyone plays video games.
Yeah.
That's not what a person does. That's what maybe speedrunners find like. And also, people are going to throw shade at 10 hours when you can beat Elden Ring in 3.5 minutes.
Exactly.
I want to double check that. I don't
see what the current record is on YouTube.
World record Elden Ring speedrun. Tell me the guy's name.
Give him credit.
I'm going on YouTube. Hold on.
What's
your opinion on it?
So, my opinion, first of all, about Elden Ring, there's this one Twitch streamer that I follow, Miss Mika. I can't remember her full name, but she has played 2 Elden Rings at the same time, fought the main boss, the Maligno, one of them on a dance mat, and one of them using mouse and keyboard.
I hate that.
And she fucking beat. I was like,
I saw a guy.
That's like the ultimate version of like rub your belly and pat your head, but infinitely more complex.
Not
Even if you put it on easiest mode, there is no mode on easy mode. It's just the mode.
I'm not related to speedrunning, but I saw a guy on Twitch who did a no damage, not no death, no damage run of all the games like chronologically. And if he got hit once, he went back to the beginning, and he beat it. He went from like wherever it's Demon Souls or Bloodborne or whatever, all the way to Elden Ring, and took no damage from start to finish.
That's crazy. Some people are.
It took him like
autistic.
7 months or something out of like constant like 12-hour day streams.
I bet.
But like, see, that's one of the things that I love about video games, and I hated these games, by the way, personally. But I love that a game like that can make people so passionate, and that's what I was hoping for. You know, when we were talking about Starfield, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Right, guys that like that about Starfield. Like we have that for Cyberpunk, we have that for The Witcher, we have that for every other game, just not this one, and that's sort of bothering me. I'm gonna watch the video. I just want to see. Hold on.
How long is the video?
I'm skipping through. It's a guy reacting. Hold on.
We could watch the entirety of Elden Ring on this podcast, and you wouldn't even notice it. You might.
1 minute and 23 seconds. And they made you pay $50 for that.
I bought the collector's edition. Disgusting. Can't believe they stole my money like that.
I'm going to verify that. I don't believe it. Elden Ring 1 minute speedrun. I want to find the actual video.
Tell me it isn't true. Your look makes it look like it's going to be, oh yeah, there's one that's 26 seconds.
56.
Oh my god.
Oh, I think this might be a joke. I think it's a joke.
Okay, good. Anyway,
yeah,
put that aside for a second.
Yeah,
so,
please.
My take on the whole game length versus money and stuff like that. I think comparing video games and putting a price tag on the length of it is completely asinine.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid because you're not buying a length of something. You're not buying a length of copper pipe. You're not buying
that would be worth
something. They're not buying a length of a size of property. You're not buying a volume of liquid in a jar.
I'm gonna come.
You're buying an experience.
Yeah.
The experience should make you feel something, should make you feel joy, should make you enjoy yourself. If that's what happens, that's worth the price tag. Not how long it happens for. This is completely asinine. And putting a price tag or putting a number, a value number next to a length is completely regressive as like a measuring stick. Baldur's Gate, for example. Yeah. Hundreds of possible hours of enjoyment out of that thing. Does that mean that you're going to go pay $1,000 for it?
No, it's ridiculous.
Is that what you? Because if you're going to do it in that direction, then you have to do it in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Your own measurement. Now, I completely understand that some people don't have the money to buy video games like we do. We're blessed, right?
Yeah. But also, I ration my spending. First of all, we game share for most of our things. Second of all, if I have old stuff, I'll sell it unless it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll sell it and
exactly. Some people only get an allotted like 2 games a year.
Yeah.
And they have to be very picky. And you would be upset if it ended too soon or something like that. But being upset that you had a fantastic experience, but you wish it went on for another 30 hours, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
You got the fantastic experience.
I will give one caveat.
Go on.
So I've been on the other side of this with The Order 1886.
Yeah.
Where the game was too short. But my reasoning was not that the game was short. My reasoning was it was very clear they were setting up another game. They should have, if the game had been that long, I think it was something like 10 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
But had wrapped up a good story, I'd have been okay with it. It was gorgeous, by the way, and a lot of really interesting stuff.
Intriguing, set up a good premise, and then it ended. And I was like,
it was basically another version of like the predatory microtransaction thing, where it was like you obviously have 3 games of this length ready.
Yeah.
And you just wanted to sell me the next game.
It was clear.
A good game.
It seems like it was part of the sales pitch in the room to the executives. It was like,
we're gonna make this.
We're gonna end on a big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And
We've
people are
already
like-
built the rest of the
so
game.
you're gonna-
We're going to be able to sell the next one the next
Exactly.
year.
The
It's
story's
ready.
written already. It's right there. And you're going to be able to sell the second lot. So this isn't $70 from people. It's $140 from people.
Right, exactly.
And you can clearly
And
tell.
that I do have a problem with. But like we said, Stray is 5 hours. I had no problem with that.
No
I
problem.
really enjoyed Stray. I
Yeah.
think it's a very, very good game.
Yeah.
But it's 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Also, how long is Minecraft, by the way? Oh, yeah, it depends.
Yeah, what about infinite games? Like, for example, I remember one guy getting in on it on Twitter. I put out the thing, I was like, game length is such a stupid thing, similar to what I was saying now. And he's like, dude, single player story games are total scams. They're rip-offs. Games like Destiny, where you can put hundreds of hours into it, that's what your $70 is worth. And I was like,
What about Fortnite, which is free?
I love also that he used Destiny, because Destiny you can't just put $70 into it.
No, you can't.
All the expansions you need. So you've been paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm a Destiny fan. I know.
Like, yeah, exactly. It
My wallet is bare.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This model falls apart. That's not
Where-
how we calculate.
Whereas
enjoyment.
our way of calculating it is enjoyment, experience, storytelling. It also doesn't work with movies, for example, like you've mentioned and whatnot. Movies are incredibly expensive per hour ratio, and if that was the yardstick that you're mentioning, where it's just purely how long it keeps you in there, then everyone should be just Zack Snyder Justice League fans.
There you go.
Everyone should be like, yes, Martin Scorsese's Irishman, the best movie ever.
And right,
Done.
Also,
No, don't MCU nonsense, get out here.
yeah. Or like you watch a movie, it's like an hour and 20 minutes long, and you're not complaining you're getting ripped off because you're paying the same price for that as you did for, let's say it, Justice League had gone to the cinema.
Yeah.
You'd have paid the same sort of price. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And the converse of that is if a game isn't worth it, we'll tell you it's not worth your money.
Yeah.
Like what they're giving you isn't worth it. Don't buy it. That's how products work.
Yeah.
But like if I go and buy 2 hoodies and they're both £50, that's a lot, by the way, and one falls apart in the first wash. In fact, we did this with our merch. We had merch that came and we just weren't happy with it. Like, that's not a good enough product. We went somewhere else. That's what you do. But you don't just go, oh, well, actually, we'll take your shit product, but you got to give us a huge discount. I don't want a shit product.
Yeah.
We want good stuff. That's why freaking Dave Bindis is still wearing that same hoodie from like year 1, right? Some of you guys have like true gamer merch. We like, that's soft. That's good. I'm not trying to sell our merch. We don't hardly make any money. But the point is like, you look for good products and they're worth money. And I'll pay a little bit extra for something that's actually worth it. And if it isn't, we tell you, don't buy it. Don't spend £10 at McDonald's. Go and buy some food and make yourself a proper burger.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. The chips are pretty good if they salt them.
Mate, all the McDonald's in my area, it's like they've got something against salt.
There is a saint in my McDonald's who, after, I think it's right around closing, when he's not being watched, I don't know who it is, he'll salt the chips, which are just like plain potato earlier in the day. He salts the chips, and I think this is relatively fair, like common practice, like near closing, anything that's going to get thrown away, they just give us the extra, because one, it's good marketing, and two, it's either going to get thrown away or you can eat it, and then you think, oh, this McDonald's sometimes gives me free stuff, right? But instead of it being like the odd cheeseburgers, go freaking fills the bag. Every now and then, me and my missus, like when we're off together, and she's off the next day.
Do you want to try our luck?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll wait until like 10 or 11, which is a super unhealthy time to be eating, and just like
right before bed,
pig out and like stuff ourselves with McDonald's. But like I need to find the guy, because nobody else does it, and like you can tell when he's not working, because if you order late at night, you get like a cheeseburger or something and the unsalted chips. I need to find the guy. He's a freaking legend. Anyway. That's worth the money.
Game
length is stupid. That's not how it works.
Speaking on the McDonald's thing, my girlfriend keeps seeing like videos on like Instagram and stuff like that of McDonald's workers saying like, I like to put an extra chicken nugget in my boxes and whatnot. So when they order 6, they get 7. When they order 9, they get like 10 or something like that. And ever since then, she's like looking, she's like, 6 again. She's always disappointed. It's clearly like just a couple of people that are doing this.
I saw one guy that was like, every time for like, I worked at Popeyes or KFC or something for like 3 years. Every single time, the 10-piece, I gave them 11. And the 11 herbs and spices are like thyme, coriander, whatever. And I was
just
like,
broke the secret.
Yeah. Anyway,
game length is judging the game by its game length is the most asinine conversation I've ever heard. It's
not what makes
so
the game good.
baseless, and the way that you guys say it with your chest, the way you guys say it with such bravado, with the gall, it pisses me off so much.
It's not what makes a game good. And then the other side of that argument is, so okay, then infinite length games are like World of Warcraft, right? The OG game, one was a monthly subscription, but let's forget that.
Yeah.
The speed run from like starting the game to level cap is 24 hours. That's the speed run. Does that make World of Warcraft like the best game ever? There are guys with literally thousands of days of game time. Is it the best game ever? Is that how that works? Or what about, like we said, Fortnite? Does that mean that Ninja's the best game ever because he's got the most time in the best game ever because it's free and infinitely long?
Yeah.
Like, nothing about that model works.
Nothing.
The pricing fluctuation, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work because there's no way that Baldur's Gate 3 should cost less than, not Starfield, that's better. Yeah, Starfield on PC, or I guess you can you buy Starfield?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
There's no way that should work
Yeah.
because you get more game. How does that make sense? Or that it should be less than God of War because it's way longer and therefore better.
By their own metric.
And also, so like, here's an example. We're both saying how great Baldur's Gate is. I don't know if it's even appropriate to say that it's better than like God of War 2018 because it's so different. It's such a different experience and such a different engagement and stuff, such a different way of telling a story that it's not appropriate to say, to like compare them. It'd be like saying, what's your favorite painting versus your favorite movie? You know, oh well, Mona Lisa's way better than Endgame, right? Like it doesn't work. So the whole thing is ridiculous. Yeah. And then what about games that just speak to people, like Stray? I bet there's someone that Stray was there, like that was the game. It's the best experience they've ever had.
Yeah.
And they were ever gonna have, or Elden Ring, or Horizon, or whatever it is. How do you quantify that? Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
So stupid. All right. Our final topic.
Yeah, buddy.
There's been a bit of a hubbalaboob.
A booby. I'm going to come.
I think you should. There's been some unfortunate words being said about PlayStation when it comes to the new console that was just announced, the one with the detachable disc drive. Mm-hmm. With the version with the disc drive, on the box that people have leaked, the pictures of the box, it says, in very small letters, internet connection required to pair disc drive and PS5 upon console startup. And a lot of people are very upset because essentially this is a form of DRM, let's say, even though it is just at the beginning for this one time and then it's done.
Oh, like the very first time you pair it?
The very first time you plug it in, it requires an internet connection to go beep, okay, done. And then after that, it's
sort of like when you pair your like DualSense.
Exactly. A bunch of people thought that this was...
Find better stuff to complain about, come on.
Mate.
It's a digital... console.
I'm glad you said it.
Can we?
I get.
How are we the reasonable smart brains? Man, we're two koala brained, like chicken fillet brained motherfuckers.
Smooth as shit. But somehow we're like, you know what? Look, I get game preservation. It's actually a very important thing, right?
Yeah.
In the future, 100%. When it's all digital and stuff like that, when those licenses expire, when those servers go down, it's not going to be able to work, right? This is so weak. This is such a weak thing to be like. I understand that the minor gripe with it. I understand the minor gripe with it, but some people were taking it to the nth degree. They were like, "Oh my god, PlayStation have done it again. They've done it again, guys. They're locking you behind, despite this being the only thing that requires like an internet connection in order to work. Like Xbox on the other side, they're shipping discs without the game on it, and it just tells the Microsoft Store to download it for you. Cool, that's totally fine. But pairing the disk drive, it seems. Don't get me wrong. It's weird that a disk drive requires an internet connection to pair. Odd.
I'm with you.
But it's not that big of an inconvenience.
I
It's
also
just
don't
beep,
care.
done.
Yeah, like
It's like the Xbox actually requires an internet connection to start to install on its first opening, right? It's not a big deal because you're going to plug it into the internet. It's just one of those things.
We need better stuff to complain about.
We
guys.
do. We really do. We've got fucking wars going on in the world. We've got people dying. We've got real issues in terms of like climate. We've got real issues in terms of the roads. We've got education problems.
You're going way further than I thought. Like, your best game so far is Starfield. Stop complaining about this. Do you know what I mean? Like, go away.
It's such a dumb thing to complain about.
It's such a nothing burger. There's
really
nothing there. I am genuinely shocked that anyone cared enough to mention that, because the reality is there is not a single game that you can buy now that doesn't have a day one patch before you can play it.
Yeah.
So you have to have that.
And what's really funny is that PlayStation are one of the few companies out there that are doing things where like the game that you get doesn't require the day one patch. However, you're probably going to play with a bit of bugs in there. Yeah. Like when Spider-Man came out, they said they were like, look, you can play the game. All the game is on the disc. If you don't touch the internet, you're cool. You can play it.
Yeah.
However, there's a bunch of like features like accessibility stuff and things
we've been
like
working
that.
on since it went gold.
Exactly. That you can add to it. And they were like, we recommend it.
Yeah.
But then when they do this minor thing here, they're like, oh, terrible. And also what's extra funny is that people
I love the idea of those Xbox reviewers just not updating them. Full of bugs. It's unplayable.
Bugs everywhere. What's really funny about it is on this box, it's a bundle box with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 inside it.
Okay.
The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is a voucher, so you have to go to the PSN store. So you have to connect to the fucking internet anyway when you buy this package. So why are you complaining about this one? Oh my God, you pissed me off.
And to take it a step further, most of these guys that want to play like older games, which is maybe why you would have the disc, often they don't have the disc for all the games they want to play.
Yeah.
So the only way to play the rest of those games is the digital library that you pay.
It's for. Fucking... It's like, I bought this console.
It needs fucking electricity, bruv.
It needs electricity, shocked Pikachu face.
What am I supposed to do? I'm going to have to go and buy a generator now because I live up the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, bruv. Like, why did you buy it?
Oh, God.
You know, I have to now buy a house because it won't work if it's raining.
Yeah.
Because it blows up when my generator is playing. So now I need to buy a house. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Stop being stupid. Come on. We got real things to complain about. Just in gaming, forget Ukraine and the other one that's going on.
Palestine.
That's the one. Forget them.
Yeah. This is more really important. We should
Starfield wasn't good enough. That's the real tragedy.
The reason, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering, is it's to do with copyright protection. There is a DMCA law put in place. It's actually ironically put in by Sony because Sony invented the Blu-ray technology. That you have to have a pairing of two things. Normally, everything's concealed in one box. You don't have detachable drives, but it's the first of its kind. So it has to do that in order to prevent modifications and being able to hack it and stuff like that.
Yeah, or people like downloading an old game, burning it to a CD.
Exactly. And then like plugging in a third-party drive that they've then hacked, something like that, and modified. So that's the reason for it. It's just funny to think about. And that's where it should have ended. It's just funny to think about that a disk drive needs an internet connection and that it's Sony's technology and Sony's copyright that's preventing them from just working normally. That's where it should have ended. That's where the conversation should have ended.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and that's...
people are just...
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm gonna take the stance. We don't have enough suffering in the gaming world. People need to go a few months without heating, or eating, to then realize that, do you know what? Maybe this isn't as big a deal as I was making out that it was. you know?
Yeah.
Like, actually, the fact that, like, the disk drive needs to be, like, it uses electricity and that puts my bills up. Like, mate, come on.
This one guy here is, I'm not going to mention his name just to call him out, but it's like, it's hilarious how they've gone from for the players to fuck the players. This is literally fuck the players. That's what this is. This is fuck the players.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm with you, bro. Say no more. Your Honor, arrest my case. Put him behind bars. Mr. Sony, you're going to jail.
You have to connect to your Wi-Fi. Fuck you guys.
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
So bad.
It's so ridiculous. This coming from a guy that's probably using a wireless controller as well.
Yeah. First of all, what's ironic, he's using the internet to complain about an internet connection.
It's just
the lack of fucking
self-awareness, isn't it? It's just like that.
Fuck the players.
Fuck the players. How does that make sense? The idea, I love that in his head there was like, you know, Japanese students like, how can we annoy the average gamer?
Yeah.
Like, very dishonorable.
They need to ping.
A millisecond of internet connection to verify that it's connected to a PlayStation 5. Also,
great.
what does he think it was going to do when it's connected to a PlayStation 5?
Oh, obviously, screw them.
Well, it's like putting on a hard switch to turn the internet off, so that you can be like off the web, off the grid. You can game under the radar. That doesn't make sense.
No,
doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't.
It's Also, what did he do for DLC?
Oh no, he doesn't look at the internet. He just doesn't look at the internet.
It's mate.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's kick it over to our bros.
Yeah.
Our bro Alpha Aquila, who wrote into patreon.com/conbrosations, just like you guys can. And he said, we are now living in the world of Alan Wake 2.
Gaming.
As the end of an era is reached, a new chapter begins. I can't say anything that hasn't already been said on Twitter or in this podcast.
Good comment. Thank you, bro.
Finish that. See you later. Goodbye. Just know that this is the most excited I've ever been for a video game, and I don't see myself getting this excited in the future. So much had to come together to give us Alan Wake 2, 13 years after the original game. It's had a phenomenal response that I saw at the launch on Thursday, and it's awesome to see so many fans, both old and new, celebrating this not just a video game, but as a multimedia work of art. I get to play this over the weekend and I'm shouting inside my body. I even worked on a project in lead up to this launch that culminated in over 10 hours worth of discussion. You could say I'm excited. Alan Wake 2 is confirmed, it is with us, and it lives as part of Remedy's connected universe. I think you know what the game of the year is. I think I've always known. And he sent me a message after.
I love how passionate you are, but it's not game of the year, bro.
Well, we don't know, man.
It's definitely not.
What's really funny is that after he sent that message, it's like I wrote into the Conbrosations, the True Gamer podcast, and I nearly teared up writing it. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, well, I can't wait to read it. I can see him tearing up at that.
Yeah.
I can see it.
The comment that he's talking about is on Patreon. It just says, fuck Sony.
Fuck the players, bro.
Fuck the players.
Oh, God.
It's,
yeah.
Okay, then. You said you don't know. Genuine question. Can Alan Wake 2 be Game of the Year?
Do you know what? The only thing that I will say about it is, you know how we made our arguments that like a game of the year needs to be an experience. It needs to like be a showcase for gaming and something like that. Much like how The Last of Us 2 was divisive, but even though we said in the end, we were like, this is fucking phenomenal art.
Yeah.
Like, this is like something that isn't done in gaming every single day, and it's freaking great. And you can show this to people and they'll be like, wow, games do this? That's why I thought it was a great game. I haven't played it yet, but from everything we've seen from the gameplay, it looks like it does that sort of thing where like psychological, where it's got like some horror vibes to it and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be something like that. Game of the year might be a bit of a stretch, but I definitely think it deserves recognition. I think it deserves its flowers. I think it deserves everything it gets. If it did win, let's say, I'd be like, oh, there are better games out there, I think. But at least it's a good game.
I'd need to play it.
Yeah.
If it did win, I would say I'd need to see things from it, like character development and story development and stuff like that, gameplay, that sort of thing. And I don't know, for example, you said there were better games. I don't know if that's what I would say. I'd definitely say that there are games that speak to me more. Like, I don't like horror, and Alan Wake is definitely more on the side of horror than like Control was a fantastic game. It was a lot of fun to play, but it was much more on the like thriller than horror. You know, it was thriller with like spooky undertones, but you were a superhero. You know, Alan Wake's much more on the like supernatural horror kind of thing. So for me, it's going to probably be a no. So I don't know if I would say it. Like, it wouldn't be for me, but I could. I mean, maybe it could win, but in this year, it's gonna. If it genuinely was the best game of the year, I'd have to play it, and I hate horror because Baldur's Gate is so good. It's so good, and Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy scratched an itch that, you know, for world building and immersion, and Star Wars, I assume, is, you know, fantastic. Like, there's been so many good games. If it genuinely was the best, that would suck for me because I hate those kind of games, and I would have to play it, or I'd at least have to try it. You know, like I gave Elden Ring a shout, and I think that I wouldn't have said it was game of the year. It definitely had lots of good things about it, but so many people tried it. I'd have to try it, and I hated it. It was really good, but I didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I would hate for a game that good to be in a genre I can't access.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
This goes on. I'm not going to be a huge discussion, but there was a showcase that happened. It was the Xbox Partner Program. Xbox announced the showcase. It was like a 20-minute video showcasing third-party games that are coming to the system.
Yeah.
And the Xbox community did not react well to it.
Okay.
Can you guess the reason why they didn't act well to it?
No, tell me.
You're going to beat yourself when you say it, because you're going to be like, of course. It's because none of the games that they announced there were coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
So not the quality of the games, not the studios that they came from, not that they look exciting.
Good.
That none of the games were coming to Game Pass, and that was a completely negative reaction. You're not hearing anyone talk about it. You hear people just complaining that they're like, yeah.
Good.
This is what you fostered.
You rewarded this, and it got you a huge investment lost, and a customer base that hates you if you don't give them everything for free.
Yeah.
And won't buy your products, and as a result, you can't make a good product. Maybe you're less able to make a product and you refuse to make a good product. I don't know, but good. And the reason, by the way, that they're complaining is because Game Pass exists. If they said, look, we've tried it, it isn't working, you know, we're not growing, the numbers we would need to make this happen are out of the question, it's just not going to happen. We're going to maintain an online, you know, service for like older games and this backlog, and we'll probably keep it up. After 1 or 2 years, games will come to it, but, you know, we can't do it. So you're going to have to start buying games again. Do you know what would happen? People would just start buying games again. Now, the reality is most people go to PlayStation because there's no good reason to stay on Xbox currently, but they'd have to start that.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny?
Yes.
After this showcase went out, I did what I usually do. I go look for articles. Yeah. I go listen to some Xbox podcasts that I listen to that I know have usually level-headed people. But, I mean, in order to be championing a company that doesn't really produce great games, you kind of have to be a little bit psycho anyway. But regardless, some people that have had some good points in the past where I've agreed with them.
Yeah. That's how you know it's a good point.
These people were the people that were saying that if Game Pass was to disappear tomorrow, I'd be completely fine because I had all these games that were for free. They would say for free all this time, and I was like, that's such a shit argument because of all the damage it costs. But they were also the same people that were crying that nothing in this showcase was coming to Game Pass, and I was like, you're so hypocritical. You're so disingenuous. It's so annoying to be this bad. Our version of like flip-flopping, let's call it, right? Let's call it flip, even though it's not, because it's not. Our version of flip-flopping is if Xbox were to make great games, then we'd be like, Xbox is the best.
Yeah, well, I go where the good games are.
And that's not...
I'm a whore.
That's exactly.
I'm upfront. Whoever treats me the best and pays me the most, I'm not getting paid, unlike this Sony pony shill.
But this guy's like, oh yeah, I'll defend them backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how stupid I look. That's just
Now,
so stupid to me.
Counter argument to that. You said when Cyberpunk was coming out that no matter what, you were going to shill it. And had you done that, that would have been the best move ever.
I wish I kept up with that.
That would have been so... First of all, it would have been hilarious. And second of all, it would have panned out to be true.
In the end, I'd be like, aha!
I told you.
Vindication!
Vindication! You come out calling out everyone, reading out hate comments as if they're complaining. Their complaint is about Cyberpunk as it is now.
I'd pull out a piece of paper that just has a list of names on it. They're just like, like that. I'd be like, Gerald Tucker, Mikey T. Start reading out names. These are the fucking cunts of the world. I feel sorry for Gerald Tucker and Mikey T. I've just pulled their names out of a hat. Anyway, bro.
Yes.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this great podcast. I think we had a great discussion. Very soon, we'll get the actual nominations for the Game Awards. It will be wrong because it's not our list.
Unless it's exactly our list, in which case they stole that from us. We'll be expecting compensation. Our lawyers will be writing to you.
They will be contacting you. Mario 5380 is our lawyer, and he'll be contacting you soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, bro, for joining me for another episode.
In this perfect spot, don't forget to like the video. And we're also considering maybe trying to think of other ways to add our content to other stuff. So keep your eyes open on what was this? You're in a gunfight as well.
Where was I was going slow motion, and every time I think slow motion, I think The Matrix. So I'm always like, and then the trinity of like.
I don't know why you had to justify that. Like, that's so obviously the only thing anyone thinks of.
Yeah, obviously.
You did, like, for real, I'd love to rip on you, right, when you say something stupid or wrong, but, like, the idea that, slow-mo equals bullet time has to be justified, come on, man.
Yeah.
The only possible addition is, the slow-mo's guys, that sound effect. Yeah. But that's also kind of bullet timey anyway. They use something zoomy like that. So, no, you're cool, bruv. I just didn't realize you were in a gunfight with Agent Smith in the middle of the.
Do you know what's really funny? I started watching.
And subscribe, thanks.
I started watching the last Microsoft.
What did Microsoft make?
The last Matrix movie, and I got right up to the point where the Agent Smith that's in the other guy's body awakens.
Yeah,
and he does the classic line, "Mr. Anderson." Yeah, I'm like, oh, shivers. And then I stopped it.
The first one's still the best by a long way. It's so good. There's nothing's gonna beat Keanu pulling open the thing and the guy like,
say, "Do you have any keys?" And all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then the way he chops that guy's newspaper in half with the fucking MP5. And they go,
so good.
So good.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the freaking Matrix now.
Let's do it.
Do you know what they should remake? The Matrix game.
Oh, Path of Neo, Enter the Matrix. Those PS2 games were fucking sick.
Talking about old school PS games as well, because we're at EGX. I don't think we mentioned it, but there were PlayStations running the Star Wars, the prequel games. Those games are so good. We need a remaster of those. Duel of the Fates I don't care what anyone says. Duel of the Fates is the best Star Wars song. I love that you're actually dying of vocal cord cancer. Is that even a thing you can get? I think maybe.
So, yeah.
And you're still doing the Duel of the Fates.
Still doing it. Nothing can stop
on
that.
His deathbed. Like, he died doing what he loved.
Have you seen the one where they put subtitles for things that kind of sound like it?
I have, and it ruins the whole
ruins
thing.
all things like hot dog, soda, and a can, potato. So dumb.
It's
like, what
so
are you doing?
ridiculous. And of course, I know what you're talking about, and I watched the whole thing, and I've seen it multiple times.
There you go.
And on that note,
Yes.
games.
Yeah, the show.
We should game with you again in
2 weeks.
2 weeks' time.
Exactly. Gaming. Gamer. Games.
I'm gonna come.
Oh, here we go.